one of the most important things you can offer as a young person is your ability to become reliable or to become dependable. Most people, most entrepreneurs, they're not dumb or naive. They know, like, entry level people who don't have a ton of experience, like they're not going to come in and know everything from day one. So there's kind of a low bar already. It's like sort of this butts in seats thing. Like, we know we need X number of people to do X number of tasks as a baseline. So there's not a huge expectation for you to come in and be 10x valuable. And that sort of creates this like margin of opportunity for you. If this is the baseline that's expected, and like you can figure out how to kind of go from here to here, like that's offering tremendous value to the business. So some tangible ways to do that. Number one is become somebody whose reputation is very, very strong. Is like, that person just gets stuff done and they always get it done on time, and I never have to worry about it. That could literally be low value tasks. Even like, I remember one of my early career jobs is like the first 2 or 3 weeks I came into this accounting tech firm that we were working off. The first 2 or 3 weeks it was 1099 season, and I stuffed 1099s in envelopes for 3 weeks, and like had to lick them and stamps, and like we ran out of envelopes, and there's special envelopes, and I'd like drive all over the county to try and find these envelopes. And again, like, the whole time I was like, man, this kind of sucks. But at the same time, what I didn't realize is like, nobody else wanted to do that job, but everybody wanted to make sure the job got done and that it got done right. And that's the way you can be most valuable. Is like, make sure the things that you do have responsibility for, they get done right, they get done on time or ahead of time. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that's really frustrating for business owners and entrepreneurs is this idea of like transaction costs. So it's like, you have all these employees, there's work to be to that you need to get done, and this is what makes hiring such a pain and such a costly sort of like risky thing. Is you want to hire people that you have high confidence can do the job that you're hiring them to do, that you're allocating business resources to solve a problem. Well, if you have a bunch of employees that you're only like 50% sure they're going to do their job, or they're going to show up, or they're going to do their job well, like, you've got a very kind of you got a very risky business. You so the By being able to increase your competence and reliability, like, you've taken a lot of stress off the business owner, off of whoever your managers are. Which, again, that may not seem that important to the bottom line, but that means that person doesn't have to spend time stressing over you, which they could allocate their time to higher level tasks in the business. The other thing is, any way that you can expand the scope of your responsibility is going to level up your ability to offer more value over time. So if you can master your day-to-day responsibilities, but then be the person who's always volunteering to help other people out, especially if they're in adjacent parts of the business. Hey, let me take some of this on. I already crushed my work. I did 40 hours of work in 20 hours, so I got 20 other hours to like volunteer to the business and be valuable. Doing simple things like that is going to allow you to expand your purview of how the business works. It's going to allow you to build a lot of social capital with your peers. Plus, it's going to allow you to build another skill set beyond just the like kind of tasks that you're doing. And if you do that long enough, over a long enough period of time, and you get enough reps doing that, before you know it, you're going to develop like several additional skill sets in addition to the job you're hired for. And that's ultimately how you increase the value you can offer, is by increasing your competence, increasing your skill, your knowledge, and increasing the leverage you have.
So basically it's just do what you can where you're at.
Yeah, and do what you can where you're at, and anytime you find a way that you can do something better, do that, and continue to kind of like you create this loop of like new opportunity, develop competence, and then optimize, and then continue.
And definitely begin to leverage the internet, because the internet offers so much potential for increasing the ability for you to give value to a company, to a hirer, etc. Um, how do you showcase value? Because doing good things is I guess easier sometimes than explaining to people how it correlates to their business, or how it correlates to something that you could offer to them.
Yeah, so there's kind of two ways to think about this from for somebody who's earlier in their careers. One is you got to you've got to build a brand or build a reputation for yourself, and I think that you've got to do that locally, and you've also got to do that sort of globally, if you will. And so an example of locally is like you're in a company already. You've got an awesome career opportunity. Well, in order to climb through the ranks, you got to build a really strong reputation in that company. So you got to build social capital. You got to, always deliver on the things you're responsible for. Like I said previously, like always find ways to volunteer for for other things and then deliver on those. And that's going to build your reputation locally. Well, if 2 to 3 years down the road you decide to leave that company, and all you have to show for that is your LinkedIn shows maybe one or two promotions, but nobody outside the company knows what value you're capable of doing. There's no portfolio, there's nothing like that. You're still back to square one in a sense. You're still like you're the same as everybody else on the job market that has the same level of experience as you. And that's what I think is it really limits your upside professionally if you're restricting the value that you're showcasing, or you're artificially inhibiting the reputation you could build. Imagine though, over the same 2 to 3 years, instead of just like crushing it and doing great in the company, you're also starting a blog, you're starting a podcast, you are becoming you publish 50 blog posts over that 2 to 3 year span about like 2 to 3 problems in the business that you solved, and you're documenting your personal and professional growth. Now you've got this awesome podcast that you've done over 2 to 3 years. You've got tons of really cool guests who are experts in the field or industry, or in the skill set that you're trying to master. Now when you go back on the job market 2 to 3 years from now, not only do you go bearing like this awesome testimonial from coworkers and a company and a good track record, but you're not the same as everybody else on the job market. You now have this awesome credibility you built because you have these other signals that you can point to on the job market that are so much more potent than just 2 to 3 promotions.
I like that a lot. And you said earlier, take agency of your career. And I think that's exactly what I didn't really understand a long time ago before I began praxis, before I just started to really take what I wanted to do in life seriously. It's interesting because we go throughout life and we equate work with life. Like I'm going to work because that's what needs to be done to get to living. But like the way that you and the way that I've seen a lot of startups and entrepreneurs approach work is just work is an enhancement to my life. It's something that I do because it aligns with what I want to do, and taking control of how people view you is just leveraging your own ability to I don't know, do something. Like life is